Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we have the long-awaited Play Arts Kai Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition Ken figure. Definitely a great figure. Street Fighter is a little bit near and dear to me, so I might be a little bit picky about some things, but I think they are all warranted complaints. For Ken, the only serious complaint I have is the face. To me, I mean, we've seen a lot of different versions of Ken throughout the 25 years of Street Fighter. This is not one of them. It doesn't look like Ken to me at all. He looks better from the back than from the front. Just because the face, it just doesn't look like Ken to me. It doesn't look like the alpha version, it doesn't look like the original version, it doesn't look like the remastered version, it doesn't look like Street Fighter 4. It just looks off. The eyes are a little squinty, the nose is kind of fat. It just doesn't look right to me. But putting that aside, it's still a really good figure. So let's take a look at what he comes with. First of all, we have the packaging, of course. Standard window box. We don't have the flaps like some of the other Play Arts Kai figures do. Most of them do. The Street Fighter ones do not. You can see through the window. He does have the display stand in the background. Sadly though, I wouldn't recommend you take it out unless you really need it, because the blisters for the Street Fighter figures are clear. So if you tear that out and you take the figure out, it's going to kind of screw up the displayability of the box if you're worried about that. If not, then it's no big deal. You see some images on the side, nothing on that side, or one image on the side, some images on the back of some posing options. Shows you that Ken is available, and then also we have Sakura, which I will be reviewing also, or will have already reviewed one way or the other. Click the link to watch that video. Definitely a cool figure though. That's the packaging. Accessory wise, we have the standard face, standard ugly face, the two fists, an alternate face, which is supposedly like a yelling face, but it looks worse than the first one. I think it's really flat, and I don't know, it just doesn't look like Ken. He's always supposed to be kind of like a pretty boy, and he's not. This figure is not at all. So you just pop the hair off and you can pop the face off. At some angles this face looks better, but it's just the way it's made, it looks really weird. It almost looks like a Dragon Ball Z drawing because of the way the face looks so flat. I don't know, I don't care for it. I don't like his face at all. It's really turning me off to the figure, even though, I mean, it's not horrible, but it definitely could be better. Okay, so then we also have the alternate hands, which are just open hands, kind of like for a Hadoken. The pegs are relatively large. You don't have to worry too much about breaking the pegs. And then lastly, we have the fire effect for him, which is okay. It's pretty well done. It's got some dark spots and some light spots. The feathering of the shading could have been a little better, but it's still okay. And then that just goes over his hand. Now, one complaint I do have is that you pretty much have to have his arm completely straight to get this to fit on him. It goes on like that. Even still, it's pretty tough to get it on him and for it to look right. If you put it on like that, you can bend the elbow, and it's okay, but it doesn't wrap around the arm as much as I would have liked. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't look quite as natural as I was hoping it would. And then you see how the hand has to be rotated to the side. You just can't put it on the way I think it should go. But, you know, it's not horrible, it's just not as good as I would have hoped. Okay, so let's look at the figure itself. It does snap on kind of nicely though onto the actual fist, so that's nice. If I can get it off, that would be even better. There we go. Okay, so let's look at the figure. He stands roughly 9.5 inches tall, so he's in scale with the other Street Fighter figures. I'll do another comparative review now that we have these two new ones out, but for now, just watch this one. Okay, so as far as the paint apps go, we're pretty good. Nothing really to complain about. I don't like that his belt is grayish purple. I don't think there's ever been a Ken in red with a grayish purple belt in the games. I could be wrong there, but I think it's pretty much always been black on the red gi. There might have been a yellow one once, but definitely not purple, not that I can remember. The skin coloring is pretty well done. There's nice shading, nice texturing. Nothing too problematic, no glossy problems. The hair is okay, there's some shading in that. Sculpt work is good for the hair. Same thing for the gi. Everything's okay here except for the belt. He's got the same type of knees as Ryu and Akuma. No problem there. You can see the little seams are painted in black. The gloves look pretty good. Really not too much to complain about. Sculpt's nice. You can see here it's new. I don't think Ryu had this on his. It's been a while now, but he's got the little extra tab there, which allows for extra posability. So that's nice. His gi comes down a little bit extra on the chest to hide the torso articulation. So that's pretty good. We'll talk about that more in the articulation section. This is nice and soft, so it won't get in the way of anything. So pretty well designed overall. The head is on a barbell or a double ball peg at the top. The neck is also. The face comes off pretty easily. I did that on purpose, but it does come off fairly easily, so be aware of that. But pretty good range of motion for the head. Definitely enough for any posing you'll want to do. The shoulders are on a butterfly joint. Then we have a ball hinge on top of the butterfly joint. So that's nice. And then we have a bicep swivel. It's really stiff on this guy, but he does have a bicep swivel. And then the ratcheted elbow ball hinge, which swivels at the top and at the bottom. And then the wrist is pretty much the same as the elbow. It's a ball hinge that ratchets. This is a separate piece, this bottom part of the glove. So I don't really know why. I don't think it needs to be a separate piece, but it can hide the articulation a little bit. So maybe that's why they did that. Okay, so for the torso, we have the double ball peg again for the upper torso. I actually had to pop mine apart because this piece, you can see in here that for some reason, instead of having this be solid like they normally have it, there's like a cap that the ball peg connects into. And mine was way crooked, so I flattened it out as best I could. I had to take it apart. So be aware that that might be an issue. And then it's pretty good range of motion though. It rotates and leans and it's not too bad. It doesn't go forward as far as I'd like, but it does go backward and side to side. And then for the lower torso, we have just a standard ball peg. You can't really see it, but it goes up into the abdomen. So that is completely posable. That's really nice. Then the legs, connected to that ball peg, are two kind of ball hinges that shoot out to either side. So they're ratcheted forward and backward, and side to side. Good range of motion all the way around. Really nothing to complain about. And then the thigh can swivel around that just because of the way it's built. There's the ball hinge, and then there's a peg that goes into the thigh that the thigh can swivel on. Knees are double hinged, double jointed. Definitely not as ugly as some of the other figures we've seen, and since he has baggy pants, it's definitely a little more, there's a little more leeway, so I'm okay with it. Good posability, good range of motion, and it's not too ugly, so I'm pretty happy about that. Then the ankles, same as the wrists and the elbows, just a ball hinge into the pants and then into the foot. The peg for the foot comes out at an angle to give you an ankle rocker. Very similar to the way Marvel Legends is doing it now. And then of course you can also just rotate that ball peg around to give yourself a better ankle rocker. One thing I don't care for about the ankles is this is hard plastic, so you're not going to get any flex out of that at all. But there's enough of an opening to get pretty good posability. So I'm pretty happy about that. Again, really the only complaints I have are the face and the belt. I can't really think of too much else. It could be a little better here and there, but nothing worth really pointing out or complaining about. It's definitely a good figure. I do recommend it. It is probably a must-have for any Street Fighter fan, especially if you're a fan of Ken, because Ken's probably one of the most popular characters. Ken and Ryu, of course, are the two stock fighters, but a lot of people like Ken for his flashiness over Ryu, and he's a good character. So there he is, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. I hope you go buy this figure because it's definitely worth picking up. Stay tuned for the Sakura video, or go back and watch it. I don't know which way I'm going to upload those. So if you haven't seen it already, go see it. Either way. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Keep collecting.